I've noticed so much growth in the farmers market, and a lot of it really is because of Jen Corrington and the hard work that she's built into this amazing program. It's such a great place for small businesses to come and get their start. I love that we see people of all ages shopping, but also people of all ages selling. It's an incredible place for someone who wants to take a side hustle and turn it into a big dream, to do it in a safe environment that tons and tons of people come to. There are so many things here. Do not miss out on what's happening at the farmers market.
I think this market is one of the best small town farmer market I ever been to. They have fresh produce. They have homemade sourdough bread. They have a location for youth vendors. And Jennifer pretty much come on the morning and put each vendor numbers. So when you show up, you know exactly where you need to set up your booth. There's no guessing. So, I mean, this is one of the best. Today, I'm with Jennifer. She is the executive director of the Eagle Mountain Farmer Market. Jennifer, can you tell your story on how you got involved with the market?
Yes. So our market has been running for, I believe, 8 years. And one of my good friends started the market 8 years ago. She saw the need for a farmer's market in the area. And when she started her first year, there were about 10 vendors. I joined as a vendor on year 3, I think. And then a few years ago, she was getting ready to move out of the area and asked if I'd be interested in taking it over. And I did. This is my 4th year being the manager, and I have loved it. And we have grown the market. We are averaging about 80 to 90 vendors per week. And we have a lot of different small businesses from our area.
I mean, that's a lot of vendors you have, because I see at the beginning of the market this year, we were averaging over 100 the first time.
Close to. It was about 95. And then that usually happens at the beginning. Everybody's really excited and then it drops down a little bit. But we've been averaging still pretty high this year.
And how do you find those vendors?
So a lot of them find us. We have a Facebook page and we advertise when our applications go live. And because we have a lot of returning vendors, and then people come and they realize they could become a vendor. And we are looking for things that are original, one of a kind things. Obviously, we are always wanting more farmers or produce vendors. We're looking for backyard gardeners, because that would be the main thing that we would like. But all of our businesses here, you have to have a part in making the product that you sell. So we don't allow any reselling. So we're trying to support small businesses.
This is the backbone of America, small business owner.
Yes.
What I like about the Eagle Mountain Farmers Market is that it gives you that small town feel, kind of like going to a rural area that, the farmers market's kind of originated in. And it's all local artisans, local farmers, and people just that really care about their businesses and put everything they have into it. And the management of the Eagle Mountain Farmers Market is amazing. Jen is incredible to work with. And, it's grown so much through the years that it has made this a much bigger and much better success than every other market that I've been in.
I know there's a lot of market that struggle to find farmers, people that make like vegetable people to sell.
Right.
Do you run into this as here?
So much. Yes. I've been in touch with lots of different farmers, and unfortunately we are a market that is, you don't pass us, right? You don't pass us to go to something else. We're a destination, basically. And so many, even though we do have a large market and we have a lot of people here, a lot of times farmers make a lot more money in the downtown market. And so they will drive further to go to the downtown market. And so we struggle getting farmers out here. So I am trying to reach out to backyard gardeners, anybody who has extra produce, because there are a lot of people growing things that aren't just farmers.
Oh, I see what you're saying. you're targeting like homemade people.
Yes.
And I know sometimes vendor complain there's too many people that make the same items. 3D printing or cupcake making.
Uh-huh.
How do you deal with that by not admitting too many of the same people, but at the same time I feel like so many of them are unique of their own way. How do you distinguish that?
So a couple of ways. It is definitely a trial, especially with certain products. 3D printing is probably the biggest one. For example, I had 15, I think, 3D printers apply this year. So first of all, I will take the first people who apply, and I want them to be, if I have to do that, then I'll go to different criteria. Are they a resident of our city? Are they a returning vendor? You know, is this their full-time job or is this just a part-time thing? So when we had that situation this year, that was just one of the vendors that I had that situation with. Then I go down that criteria, and then kind of with the bulk that I'm left with, then I ask them to alternate weeks, because it's either that or I have to turn them all away. And I go upon who applied first as well. So, for instance, but we had like 4 vendors of the same type of thing apply on the very same day. They were all residents. And so then I took it to them and I said, okay, do you want to either just not come to our market, or are you willing to trade days? Because they are a little bit different, which is great. But then still how patrons look at that is it's just 3D printing, for example. And kind of same thing with, there are certain items that really we can only have one of at a market. Like for instance, we only have one honey vendor because honey is honey, right? But then like you said, for instance, the cupcakes or 3D printing, they're all a little bit different. So depending upon what the item is, either limit it or ask them to take turns. So things like that. I don't know if that makes sense.
It makes sense. I think I like that better because I know some people just turn them down, I guess. But you trying to give everybody a chance to sell the product.
Yeah.
I think that's better because I know a lot of vendors, they really want to come to a farmer market. Yeah. And it's discouraging when they apply to get denied.
But then there also is a limit to that. So for instance, I could not take any more. I had to close down applications for certain things. And then I just encourage people, please apply next year. This is when our applications open. So it depends, if I do have a limit, and unfortunately will have to turn people away once I hit that limit.
Fair enough. Speaking of vendors, let's talk about the rules and regulations.
Okay.
I think there's so many rules in policy when you apply to this market, and each of them is a little bit unique.
Yes.
And some vendor that host this market, some of them are stricter than others. I know there's a lady that I go to. She fine people. If you leave early, she fine you or she ban you. What is your take on those policies, and how do you make sure those vendors follow them?
I am probably a little bit more lax than some other market managers, and maybe that could be to my detriment in some areas, but I also try really hard to work with vendors because, I have a crazy life. And so I hope that vendors are going to be patient with me. And I know they have a crazy life. So there's certain things I feel like I'm able to be flexible on. And then there's certain things if a vendor starts to take advantage of me, like they constantly no-show, then I'm going to start having an issue or I'll start to charge them. But I ask vendors not to leave and I explain to them why, and I really don't have an issue with it. So I feel like I don't start to do things like fines until there really becomes an issue with it. So I just try and work with vendors until there becomes a problem. I feel like communication I'm going to get a lot more done with my vendor if I'm communicating with them.
No, I think that's great because I get your email before the markets, the couple of days before the market. I think that's huge. How do you deal with vendors that get pissed off? They're like, I make 50 of my brownie and I only got 2 customers. This is not fair. How do you deal with those expectations that were so high and they come and they realize no one cares about your cupcake?
I think, again, it is really trying to empathize with the vendor. I try and talk to and encourage them. You know, maybe next time I need to move them to a different area, or maybe they're not getting up and trying to engage with customers enough. I remember one year I had a new youth vendor, and her table was kind of clear set back against the side. And so I encouraged her and I gave her some tips. You know, move your table to the front of your booth. Make sure you're getting up and you're talking to engaging with customers. Tell them about your product. Sometimes you have to reach out into the walkway to pull somebody in. So I feel like that if I am encouraging with them and empathizing and say, man, I know that really stinks. Let's try something different next week. I feel like that goes a long way to maybe help them see why maybe they're not doing well. And if it just keeps happening, I can talk them through all of those things and try and make a difference for them. But I guess in the end, if their product doesn't keep selling, that's something that I think people need to internalize and evaluate.
I think you're right. Speaking of product of not selling, do you do any class, kind of like a workshop for new vendors to say, hey, this is a 45-minute class. You can come on Thursday. We can teach you stuff. Do you do any of those?
We have talked about doing at the intro some type of thing. I do try and send out some tips. We also have a vendor handbook that is available on our website that people have to sign when they register. And it gives lots of different tips for that. But that is a good idea.
And what is the big goal for this market? Does the city maybe, I know a lot of people want fresh produce, organic stuff.
Yes.
And, during the summer is much easier because you can find farmers and people that make it. But how about the winters? Have you guys ever think of something during the winters?
We talked about it a little bit. The city I know has talked about having a new kind of when the new downtown is created. I don't know how many years out that is, but they're starting to talk about it. They are creating kind of a whole row for things like that. So we can look at that possibility. Right now, our weather it gets too cold and there's not an indoor place. So it just isn't feasible. We have talked about doing an online market. I just haven't been able to make it work yet.
Yeah. And what's the big future of the Eagle Market farmer market? Oh. Chicken. The chicken almost destroyed.
I know.
If your dream could come true, what would it be for the market?
It would be to have a really great, just the right amount of farmers, produce vendors that they sell out every week, that our city is happy, and that we are supporting these small businesses. That is my goal.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. All right. Thanks.
So Eagle Mountain Farmers Market, it's close to a home for our business. It brings the community together. And then working with Jen is pretty simple. She just sets up the booth, and I've never really had any questions for her. So everything's just set up when I get here, and I'm good to go.
The reason why we love the Eagle Mountain Farmers Market is the community and the people. Jen's a great coordinator. She puts on a great market, has a lot of great vendors coming through. It's just the community and the people all around just makes it so much fun and so joyful to do.